Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm your host Dr. Sinay, and I'm back with a very interesting story. Thank you to all of you who have been watching my previous stories, and thank you also for your amazing support and the wonderful comments that I read with so much interest. Tonight I'm bringing you an extraordinary story of reincarnation. Do you believe there is life after death? Well, guys, reincarnation is an ancient belief, not only Buddhist and Hindu cultures, but also in ancient Greece and in early Christianity. Professor N.K. Chadar of Delhi University worked together with Dr. Stevenson in India during the 1990s. The most exceptional of most of the cases examined by Professor Chadar is the one of Titu Singh, and the story appeared in a London-based magazine, Reincarnation International. BBC was the first to broadcast this story in a news program, 40 Minutes, in 1990. Let's find out more about Titu, a boy who was born in December 1983 in a little village called Bat in North India. And he began speaking at the age of 1.5, much earlier than his 5 siblings. Titu soon started to claim that his name was Suresh Verma and that he was the owner of an electronics shop in Agra, which specialized in radio and TV. By the time Titu was 3 years old, he said his wife's name was Uma and that they had 2 children. He started insisting that his present life parents needed to get in touch with his grandfather of his previous life and make sure he looks after Uma and the 2 kids. He said that this is not my family, and also said of his present house that it was a poor house. He said that he was an affluent man from Agra. When his mother asked him who he was, he always replied he was Suresh Verma from Agra, and that he was worried about his wife and his 2 kids. Titu continued to feel upset and sad that his current parents were not his real family. He was restless until his parents decided to investigate his claims. They contacted Professor Chadar of the New Delhi University. They managed to find out lots of details about a man called Suresh Verma, who had owned an electronics shop in Agra, North India, which specialized in radio and TV. Also that he had died a violent death. Now things were falling into place as the jigsaw was kind of getting into some track. The little boy Titu had already accurately described to his parents how he, then Suresh, was shot in his head by 2 men as he was about to get off his car right outside his gate as he had just got home from work. Guys, all this was so unbelievable. May have sounded a bit far-fetched too, to many. But how did this little boy know all this? He was only 3 years old. This is a kid's imagination, just a kid's imagination, or something more. The present life parents of Titu managed to track down the electrical shop, and they did find the widow of a man called Suresh running the shop at the moment. They heard that Suresh had been shot a few years earlier. The name of the widow? Uma. Remember what Titu said? That the name of his wife was Uma? Dr. Stevenson and Professor Chadar got involved too for further exploration of this story. Titu was now 4. The 4-year-old little boy was taken to Agra and he instantly recognized the area. And as the car was deliberately racing past the radio shop, the 4-year-old shouted, "Stop! This is where my shop is." He looked around the shop and asked questions about the modifications done after the death of Suresh. And the families and neighbors were stunned. Suresh's family was convinced that this was Suresh reborn. He walked to Uma, immediately recognizing her as his wife. I need to tell you that the 2 men who had gunned down Suresh had not been still identified. So guys, the case was open. The family had also made arrangements for Suresh's children to play and mingle with other neighborhood kids. Titu walked in there into the group of kids and he quickly recognized Suresh's children as his own and singled them out from the rest, called them by their names. Now guys, in an interesting and spectacular turn of this saga, Titu, as he was remembering more and more of that fateful night where he, Suresh, was shot and killed, he started talking about the shooting incident almost every day. One day, the 4-year-old mentioned the names of the 2 men who had been threatening to kill him. A rival businessman by the name of Sadiq Jardine was the one who fired the deadly shots at him. The police had to take this boy's memory seriously. They started investigations and they decided to question Sadiq Jardine. After much police work and lots of interrogations, the police had enough evidence against him and could finally get a confession from him. Titu narrated the details of the crime to an Agra court so realistically, and everyone was convinced that he really is the reincarnation of the murder victim Suresh Verma. Autopsy reports of Suresh confirmed that he was shot in his head and died of the bullet wound in his right temple. The autopsy showed the exact size of the location of the wound and also the exit wound on the other side of his head. Titu has a round dent on his head from birth, which coincides exactly with the entry location of the bullet. Can you believe this, guys? He also has a second birthmark on his head, a star-shaped scar, which coincides with the exit location of the bullet. This is unbelievable, right? Just think of this, guys. A man shot dead is born again and gives evidence of the shooting to nail his killer. That is what happened, guys, in the story, in the reincarnation story of Titu Singh. What are your thoughts on this, guys? I am totally intrigued. Please leave your thoughts in the comments box on this bizarre reincarnation case, and I shall appreciate if you subscribe to support my channel. Thank you, and see you again real soon, guys. Good night.